Hello there, welcome to the Knowledge Channel. In this channel, we damage ignorance and we propagate knowledge because lack of knowledge is worse than a curse. In this episode, we are going to discuss the origin of human beings. What does the history of human beings consist? Where did the human race come from? You see, I, Samuel, I have a father. And my father also has a father, who I would refer to as my grandfather. And my grandfather also has a father, who has a father. It goes on and on. I also have a mother. And my mother also has a mother, who I would call my grandmother. And my grandmother has a mother, who has a mother, and so on and so forth. When did all this begin? Who are the first mother and father of the human race? There are many ways of approaching this subject. We have the religious narratives, which we are going to consider in other episodes, and we have evolution, the scientific narrative of human origin. What is evolution? In biology, evolution is the change in characteristics of a species over several generations, and it relies in the process of natural selection. The theory of evolution is based on the idea that all species are related and gradually change over time. In this episode, we are going to look at evolution of the human species. We are going to use two methods to explain this process. We have dating of fossils and evolution genetics. According to Oxford Dictionary, fossils are remains or impressions of a prehistoric organism preserved in petrified form or as a mold or cast in rock. Since the beginning of the 19th century, archaeologists have discovered many fossils in various parts of the world. Let us look at the discovered fossils in order of how old they are. The first dated fossil was discovered in East Africa in modern-day Ethiopia. This fossil was named Ardipithecus ramidus, dated between 5.5 million years ago and 4 million years ago. Let us consider Ardipithecus ramidus as the first stage of human evolution, and Africa being the first home for mankind. The mainstream scientific belief is that Africa is the cradle for mankind, and it is where human story begins. The next stage of evolution we are going to consider is Lucy, also known as Australopithecus afarensis. Lucy was also discovered in Ethiopia. She lived 3.2 million years ago. The next stage of evolution is the famous Homo habilis. Homo habilis lived in East and Southern Africa. Homo habilis is believed to have been a stone tool user. This is where innovations, inventions, discoveries, and the genius of human beings begin. The next stage of evolution is the Homo erectus. Homo erectus, also known as upright man, lived about 1.2 million years ago. Current evidence suggests that all hominids before Homo erectus lived in Africa. However, almost as soon as this species appears in fossil record, there is evidence it expanded out of Africa and into Western Asia, then Eastern Asia and Indonesia. In the next stage of evolution, we find Homo sapiens, the modern human being. Homo sapiens is believed to have lived in Africa at about 120,000 years ago. Evidence suggests that Homo sapiens lived in the continent of Africa up to 60,000 years ago before expanding out of Africa and into the rest of the world. This is a great point now to introduce evolution genetics. According to the National Human Genome Research Institute, evolution genetics is the process by which organisms change over time through mutations. Mutations produce genetic variations in populations, and the environment interacts with this variation to select those individuals best adapted to their surroundings. The best adapted individuals leave behind more offspring than the less well adapted individuals. Given time, one species may evolve into many others. The main term in evolution genetics is mutation. If we can trace genetic mutations, we can trace the first humans who shared a common genome, also referred to as the DNA. In 2016, Wells Spencer, an American geneticist, published a genetic odyssey of human origin. According to Spencer, DNA in human blood can be used to trace ancestry. More specifically, Y chromosome found in the nucleus of the blood cells of all males is passed from father to son and can be used to trace the first male modern human who shared common DNA. Spencer called this first male modern human being Y chromosome Adam. You know where Adam comes from, the biblical narrative. Using blood, modern human ancestry was traced to a small group of Africans in the modern South Africa called the San and the Bushmen. Earlier in the 19th century, Alan Wilson, a scientist, had introduced to the world Mitochondria Eve. According to Alan, mitochondria DNA is passed from mother to daughter. In other words, it has the female lineage. Alan Wilson traced the first female modern human being to approximately 120,000 years ago, similar to that of Y chromosome Adam. Let me now, ladies and gentlemen, introduce you to Y chromosome Adam and Mitochondria Eve, tracing modern human ancestry to around 120,000 years ago in the continent of Africa. In a future episode, we are going to explain how human beings migrated from the great continent of Africa. If you find these videos to be useful to you, please subscribe down below. Thank you and have a good day.